Well, there's a scene in the movie where Charlie and I are having coffee and food, and Bill Murray's character like slides in on this car. And he's like, get in the car, and as we're running, where we were explodes. Obviously, someone was trying to take us out, not to dinner, off the planet, death, take us out, kill us, and it was pretty amazing. Like, we were sitting there, and right before the table exploded, Charlie's like, do you realize that we're just sitting at a table that's completely wired to explode, and it could just explode right now? And I was like, shit, you didn't, why did you do that? Why did you say that? And we sat there for a long time, just like having a conversation. Who's smoking a cigarette?
And the second take, I was like, well, that was really close, and now we're sitting on a bomb. They're like, all right, everybody clear, no radios. You're sitting next to the bomb. Everybody's safely away. You're waiting for somebody to go, hey, Jack, did you get my, you know. That didn't happen.
To die with him there would have been a great way to go. Not the number one way I'd love to go, but definitely top 12.
Holy shit.
But it was crazy because it was really hot. Fucking hot ass explosion. I really felt the heat of it. I've never really been near an explosion before.
They burned my jacket, you know that, right? I'm like 2 feet from the table, and the guy blows it, and I'm like, now I'm pushed by the fire, and I can smell my clothes. And if you can see it though, we're right in the middle of it, right?
And I didn't expect that we could ever hope to have such a big explosion, but they used a certain propane rig and were able to do it with relative ease and multiple times. So I was surprised. I'd never done that before. And the fact that Jason and Charlie were both, right in the vicinity of the explosion and weren't harmed was, I think, made it exciting.
I was kind of excited because I was like, I do feel like I'm on fire, but I also feel good. So they'll be able to put me out, and then I'll have a great story. I felt like it caught on fire, but it didn't.
Little Charlie Swan III, Jr.
I forgot about the puppet scene. I really don't like puppets. I don't mind puppets actually that much, but marionettes really are not my thing. I don't like them at all, and I want them to leave me alone, never touch me, and they creep me out.
It's not supposed to be creepy, but I don't disagree.
But good thing that my character, Marnie, is all business and probably didn't want to be fondled by Charlie Sheen marionette. So I got to act uncomfortable, but truly that's how I was feeling, because that's a nightmare.
I thought it'd be charming that as a gift, a Christmas gift, the employees made a puppet in the likeness of their boss.
Puppet really did capture Charlie's character and his personality. It was just amazing. Like, he would do these little winks and has a little cigarette and he was dancing around, and it really felt like that was Charlie. I loved it, and it was amazing. I mean, great puppetry, great work. It was amazing.
I'm a fan of puppets and ventriloquism and magic and those types of things. So a lot of the decisions I made were things that I would enjoy doing, and to be around something like a puppeteer and be involved in having that fabricated was fun.
One of my favorite scenes has to be singing that crazy song.
The song that they sing, Aguas de Marzo, I think properly, is a song that I've always loved. I think it's very touching.
It took me like a month to learn, and it was great because I've had one of the biggest fears of singing in public, and thinking I've always been not tone deaf, but shy about it for sure.
Catherine went over and laid down the tracks. And I said, I went, wow, this Portuguese singer is great. She's like, it's Catherine. I'm like, no, it's not. And she was really good, right? And then I came in and did you're gonna put those together?
Sung by a man and a woman, and it just seemed like, again, in this character's imagination, that's how he would choose to have his final moment be with this woman that he loved and is no longer going to be with. It is a fantasy sequence, and it's kind of inspired by an old television show performance. So to me, the exact lip sync or that he might be playing guitar or not was hardly very important. To me, it was more the spirit of what they conveyed, and they both sang their respective parts, and I think did a nice job. So To me, it was just about the playfulness of it and just have a good spirit of them enjoying each other's company and celebrating, what they had together in the form of a song.
It was all phonetic at that point. That's a difficult language, man.
This premise that there's a secret society of ball busters is something that, it's kind of matter of fact. The guy gets a phone number from some girl he might meet at a restaurant, and somehow his girlfriend finds out about it, and you wonder how that happened. And so it's a natural line of thinking that there might be this organization. So Jason is also an imaginative person, so he develops that premise.
Shooting the SSBB, Secret Society of Ballbusters, I think that would have to be one of my most memorable scenes, on just about anything. I don't think I've ever been able to act out this sort of crazy fantasy of, getting to kind of bust the balls of all men in the universe. It was a lot of fun.
And I knew in the film I wanted to have a lot of costumes and to be very playful and to be very free, that if I chose to do something kind of wild or playful, that I could somehow fit into the movie. I had dressed up as a Canadian Mountie once because I just thought that would be a fun costume, and so that was in the back of my mind, and I thought I would put Charlie in that costume. The Indian costume, it seemed like a natural detail, so that when she appears as an Indian later, that there's a little precedent for that. And then the Jason as Carmen Miranda, it just popped in my mind. I thought it'd be funny and absurd and, suited for his persona as a funny guy to dress up as Carmen Miranda. Why not have a scene with cowboys and Indians? And of course, there's sort of a little bit of a silly notion that this guy is suffering and is dealing with this kind of heartbreak, and if he was to be the way he sees it through his kind of wild imagination, that it's not so far of a stretch that he would feel that he was shot in the heart with an arrow by this kind of wicked Indian.
I love horses. And all animals for that matter, but I really do love horses. So any day where you can just be around big, sexy horses is incredible.
I don't do well on horseback. But I did some equine therapy, and I finally realized it's the whole time it was me, not the horses. But it made everything cool until they put me on a hill on that horse, and I was like, I still got like 14 days to shoot, guys. I'm like, no, we're not starting up there. He's like, well, just go up there. I'm up there like, and you start to panic, man. It's not a good place to be. I'm trying to remember dialogue when you're panicking.
I like the one girl who was going to play a jockey. Her name was, I want to say Josh, but that's a man's name. But she was laying backwards on her pony. She was laying backwards on her pony, just resting. They'd been riding all day long, and riding bareback, and just stretched out completely flat on the back like a circus performer. And they felt completely comfortable, and just closed their eyes, and because it was getting cold up there, and to put your whole body on the back of a bareback of a horse would make you warm. So it was like you could see her just actually go, the smart move here is to lay back and stay warm and relax. And she stayed there. You just don't see people lying down on horses, It was just, especially like very attractive girls dressed in Indian loincloths and